Special interest aliens are entering Texas. It's October 2nd, 2024, and these are your headlines. Texas troopers have encountered hundreds of illegal aliens at the southern border just last week, including special interest aliens, convicts, and gang members. In a series of posts, Texas Department of Public Safety spokesperson Chris Olivares released information regarding hundreds of illegal aliens encountered at the Texas-Mexico border. On Monday, troopers encountered a large group of 230 illegal aliens in Eagle Pass, which included 27 special interest aliens from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, Egypt, and India. Now, what's a special interest alien? Well, based on an analysis of travel patterns, they may pose a national security risk to the United States or its interests. These aliens are not necessarily linked to terrorist organizations and are not synonymous with suspected or known terrorists. They're their own special classification. In the same group, troopers also arrested 41 illegal aliens for criminal trespass. These 41 were from Brazil, Ecuador, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Argentina, Colombia, and the Dominican Republic. They were all jailed and taken to the Valverde Processing Center. On Saturday, law enforcement arrested a formerly deported felon with a criminal history of assault and domestic violence. As the November presidential election approaches, of course, the border crisis continues to be one of the top issues for voters. A new study by Pew Research Center shows that 61% of voters reported that immigration is very important to how they will vote this November, 9% higher than it was 4 years ago, and represents a 13% increase from the 2022 midterms. With early voting approaching in Texas, Attorney General Ken Paxton is intensifying his efforts to have the state's top election official verify the citizenship status of certain registered voters. Last month, Attorney General Paxton sent a letter to Secretary of State Jane Nelson urging her to seek assistance from the federal government in doing so. His request stems from concerns about federal restrictions that hinder Texas' ability to confirm the citizenship status of voter registrants. According to Paxton, these federal laws make it more difficult for the state to ensure that non-citizens are not voting, even though it's illegal for non-citizens to cast ballots. Paxton emphasized that the federal government is obligated to help states in identifying non-citizen voters, and on the same day as Paxton's initial request, Nelson then sent a letter to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Director. However, Nelson's letter used different language, requesting assistance, quote, in verifying or ascertaining the citizenship or immigration status of certain individuals on the state of Texas voter rolls. Well, Paxton's office has criticized Nelson's approach, saying that her letter did not provide any information to the federal government about the individuals whose citizenship status needs to be verified, which defeats the purpose of the letter. And now, 2 weeks later, Paxton's office claims that Nelson has yet to send the necessary list of potential non-citizen voters to the federal government for verification. And with the November election only a month away, Paxton is stressing the urgency of the situation. He said that our state and our country are counting on Secretary Nelson to do everything possible to expedite transparency and accountability to secure our elections and make sure non-citizens do not illegally vote.
I don't need to tell you that our power grid is in serious trouble. Blackout after blackout. Why does it keep happening? Why does the greatest state in the country continue to be shaken like this? And which foreign government eagerly pushes for the collapse of Texas? In this coming season of Exposed, we'll answer that burning question we're all left with when the power goes out. How could the state with the most wealth and natural resources struggle to keep its power functional, and who's behind it? Exposed. Lights Out. A new series by Texas Scorecard, out now wherever you listen to podcasts.
Last up, Houston Mayor John Whitmires joined the International Longshoremen's Association at the Bayport Container Terminal on the first day of the dock workers' strike yesterday, saying he was there in a show of solidarity to have the mayor of the great city of Houston standing on the picket line with people that have made Houston the great city that it is. Nearly 50,000 longshoremen went on strike Tuesday in the East Coast and Gulf of Mexico ports over stalled contract negotiation between the International Longshoremen's Association and the United States Maritime Alliance, which represents the majority of shipping lines. Despite the U.S. Maritime Alliance saying it offered a 50% wage increase over the proposed 6-year contract, which would triple pension contributions, the union is demanding, get this, a 77% pay increase. Wow. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce urged President Biden to exercise his powers under federal law to force ports to resume operations while negotiations take place. The National Association of Manufacturers estimates that $2.1 billion in trade is at risk every day the strike continues. The Port of Houston, of course, is the nation's largest port for waterborne tonnage, contributes more than $10 billion in state and local tax revenue and $62 billion in national tax revenue. For more of today's stories, go to TexasScorecard.com.